our team, our community. This is Condors Town, and this is another Energy Condors connection. Now, here's Erik Fox and Ryan Holt.
What's going on, B-Town? It's Erik Fox here from the studios of Energy 95.3, joined on the other side of the screen on the Truxton Avenue, at least for this week. We're not going to see you on Truxton for a little bit. It's Ryan Holt from the Bakersfield Condors. How you doing this morning, buddy?
I'm good. Yeah, I'm here for about another 2 hours, and then going to get used to some hotel rooms across the country here this week. But everything's good, feeling good, and hope everything's good there.
I'm going to be curious to see what the backgrounds we're going to have in the upcoming weeks, because I think you're going to have a hard time topping Tucson with that laser blast background we had there. But we'll get there when we get there. Let's start talking about Oilers, of course, which is how we start always on the Condors Connections. Not a bad little roll they've been having right now. We're talking 6-3-1 in the last 10 with Edmonton, including against some division opponents. What are you seeing? What's clicking? What's working now with the Oilers up there on the frozen north?
Yeah, pretty crazy. They had 5 games in 7 days. Nothing like being thrown into the fire. Jay Woodcroft and Dave Manson. 6 games in 9 nights and 5 in their last 7, and just a brutal stretch, obviously, with rescheduled games, but. They end up going 5-1 with Jay and Dave behind the bench, and now they've got a big test coming up here with Tampa and Florida and Carolina and then Philly and Chicago, I think, on the back end of the trip. So it's a 5-game trip upcoming, and it's going to be a tough trip. 3 really good teams. I think the 3 Southern teams are 3 out of the top 4 teams right now statistically in the league. So going to be a good test for the Oilers, but they're playing well. And I think the cool part about it right now is especially defensively, I think 4 out of the 7 defensemen for the Oilers spent time not only in Bakersfield over the last couple of years, but this year and played significantly for the Condors. So, you have 4 young defensemen really doing a bang-up job for the Oilers right now who have, I think, 5 guys on injured reserve. So it's, it was a critical moment in the season where they make the coaching change. They've got Keith and Cassian and Puljujärvi all kind of on injured reserve with Russell, and they bring in, not only the coaching staff, but they bring in Broberg and Niemelainen, and things just kind of click right off the hop. So now I think you're kind of past the honeymoon phase, I guess, if you will. Now you're into the grind, and like Jay always says, it's it's day by day, and I know it's cliche, but he's truly laser focused on one day, and it's not. I think that's why the teams have had success where he's been is there's a focus on, the immediate. It's not, oh, we've got this trip to San Jose and Grand Rapids and, oh, my goodness, we're playing, a game every other day. It's, hey, we've got a day tomorrow. It's our practice day. Let's get to work. And that's it. And, that's, I think, why, his teams have had success and why the Oilers are having success right now.
I think that's so important, and especially it's going to have to be important as we talk about the Pacific, which we said it at the beginning of the season, pretty much where everyone's just saying the Pacific's going to be like a ho-hum kind of a division. But, they've been the interesting one. I mean, we're talking Calgary winning the last 10 games.
Yeah.
I mean, what are you seeing as the season continues?
Yeah, I mean, Calgary's on a heater right now. You've got Vegas getting Jack Eichel here for the last week or so and the impact that he can make on a team. You've got the Ducks hanging around. The Kings, I thought were going to fade off, but they haven't faded off at all. So they've probably been the most consistent team out of anybody because they've kind of been in the same spot the entire year. They haven't really had a dip all year. So, you're seeing kind of Vancouver kind of, hang around, but, not really in it. And then, you kind of go down with San Jose and then obviously Seattle and you kind of get into the doldrums. But, there's a good 5-team battle, I think, for 3 spots, maybe 4, depending on the wild card, how the Central shakes out. But, it's certainly the most, tightly packed division in the NHL, and Edmonton's right in the thick of things. I think they're in 3rd place in the Pacific right now. So right in the thick of things.
I do see quite a few people are joining us live today. If you've got any questions or comments for me or Ryan, feel free to pop those in the chat. We'll pop those in here. Let's jump over to our boys in the local time. At least local for now, but they're going to be non-local for a little while. We're talking about, of course, the Condors. Taking on Stockton, which is a powerhouse team.
Yeah.
We're talking Pacific not only for NHL, but also for, our local thing. It was a couple rough games that we had there, but what are you seeing? What are those little spotlights you're seeing where it's like, no, those are in the past?
Yeah, well, Saturday night was a great hockey game. It gets to a shootout and we end up losing the skills competition, which, it always, we're 0-4 in the skills competition this year. So there's 4 points that kind of irks you because, to me, shootouts kind of go either way, and it is what it is. Tough to go back to back with Stockton. They're a really good team. They're the top team in the division for a reason, but it's a good barometer to kind of say, listen, this is the level right here. This is it. When you talk about, teams that are going to be there in the end, Stockton's right there. They're likely to get the bye in the first round this year. Ontario's really pushing them up top, but for Bakersfield, they got a dose of, here's the top level. Listen, this Condors team right now has 6 defensemen. We've only had one healthy forward scratch over the last week, so the numbers have thinned a bit. I think we talked last week with 10 defensemen and 4 goaltenders, and I kind of said to everybody, these things kind of work itself out, and sure enough, injury wise and everything, it does work itself out. So this is a tough test coming up. We've got 18 games in, I think 38 days or something like that. That's basically a game every other day. You factor in, the fact that the games are bunched together, and it's not easy. It's going to be a difficult portion of the schedule. San Jose and Grand Rapids have struggled this year. Grand Rapids gotten a little better as of late. They're at least still in the playoff hunt. San Jose's kind of out of it right now, but you have to win these games. You have to find a way to win Wednesday night in San Jose. That's the focus, and roll on from there.
Well, let's talk about that because obviously we've had a nice long homestand, so it's going to be a little bit of a different thing. Your culinary ventures are going to finally start again.
Yeah.
I know we got some good restaurants here in Baco, but we're kind of missing your culinary ventures. Let's start about that tomorrow night. You guys playing San Jose. Like you said, they're struggling. What are you guys doing to prepare for that?
Well, I mean, they've beaten us twice, so I think that's the carrot out there for the Condors is, San Jose is out of it, but they've beaten you twice, and they've come back twice on you, and they found ways to win hockey games. So I think if you're Bakersfield, you have to really just laser focus in tomorrow night, get 2 points, get out of there. It's a business trip. There to get the win, there to move along. But in this time of year, it doesn't matter how you win; it's just a matter of winning. You look at the Pacific in the American Hockey League, you've got, Stockton, Ontario kind of 1-2, and then 3 through 6, you got us in third, you got Henderson, Colorado, Abbotsford. Abbotsford's won 6 of 7. Colorado just continues to just kind of hang around and at worst get splits, and Henderson continues to get splits and victories as well too. So you have 4 teams kind of battling between 3 through 6. Now 3 and 4 are going to get home ice advantage in the first round. It's only a best of 3 series.
Mm-hmm.
So all the more important to get home ice advantage. 5 and 6, you got to go on the road. So, this is a big test coming up. Colorado doesn't have a lot of games left. Bakersfield has I think 6 games in hand on Colorado. It's absurd. Colorado, I don't think plays for another 3 weeks or something. But they've only got 22 games left, so they're kind of already in the clubhouse, if you will, and kind of setting the bar. And now it's for teams to make up their games and to be able to catch them. So. It's all going to start sorting itself out here in the next couple of weeks. And, I'm just happy the Condors are right in the thick of things. It's going to be a fun stretch run.
Speaking of Colorado and Abbotsford, those have been the 2 long-distance journeys you guys have made this year. Mm-hmm. But you're going into your third one. You mentioned it. You're getting on a plane on Thursday right after the San Jose game, flying over to Michigan to take on the Griffins. What's that looking like, and how do you prepare for that long trip? Because you got the time zone changes, all the other fun.
Yeah.
Air travel is always a blast. You know how it is. How's that going?
I mean, it's not easy. I mean, we got a bus to San Francisco after the game on Wednesday, fly out Thursday morning. You mentioned it's a 4.5, 5-hour flight, and you lose 3 hours, and you only get to Detroit, which is an hour and a half away from Grand Rapids. So it's a long day of travel. There's no doubt about it. It's not going to be, not an easy travel day. It's one of those just grind through it, and you have to do it. And, we're not the first team to do it, obviously. And Grand Rapids, the last time we were there was March of 2020, and the world ended. I think for a lot of us, when we got there, that's kind of when the season was canceled or postponed, and then eventually canceled, and now we're going back. So I hope it's like the Marty McFly, time space continuum here, and it kind of reverses everything backwards when we get to Grand Rapids. So. It's fun to step out of the division. Grand Rapids was the first team we ever played in the American Hockey League here in Bakersfield. We beat them 1-0. Haven't lost to them yet in our time against them. We've only played them we've only played the
That's
4 times.
that's me knocking on wood on my desk here.
We've only played the 4 times, and we had 2 games canceled last year against them. So it's going to be fun to step out of the division. They're Detroit's farm club, so it's cool to step out of the division, see a new team, and we'll see them here in Bakersfield coming up in the end of March.
For those who want to check it out, of course, you should always check it out on the road. How do we watch the games?
AHL TV, you can head down to McGarry's Irish Pub. They show every game as well, too. It's on the west side over on Brimhall and Callaway there, too, so you can check that out and watch some games with some fans. And, we don't come home until March the 5th. It's Star Wars night, so got a couple of weekends off away from downtown Condors Town, but we've got the Star Wars packs rolling, and looking forward to another big home crowd when we come back home.
Speaking of that, March 5th is, of course, our next home game. Christopher Martinez asking how much their tickets for home games. How can you get all the info for the tickets and all that fun stuff?
Great seats start at $12 at condorstown.com, or the Star Wars pack actually is just $95. It's 4 tickets for the game on March the 5th against Tucson, and you also get an exclusive pregame photo op with the entire Star Wars characters. Now, they'll be on the concourse throughout the game, but you're also saving money on tickets, and you get a picture with the entire crew, not just 1 or 2 or a group of them. You get the whole crew pregame. So that's kind of the best way in right now, and saves you money, too, on 4 tickets. 4 tickets at the box office is going to run you over $95 anyways with the fees and everything, so you might as well just do it for the tickets.
There we go. There you go, answering that question there. And, of course, looking forward to seeing your culinary adventures for anyone who wants to follow along with all the things that you are digesting in different time zones. What can they do?
At Condors Holt, and, we'll see where the culinary adventures take us into Western Michigan.
Awesome. Looking forward to it. And, of course, we'll check in on the road as we do this once again every week here with Energy 95.3 and your Bakersfield Condors. This has been another edition of Energy Condors Connection. See you next time.